Apple's Vision Pro has failed spectacularly. Now, what are all the possible reasons why this future could come true? This is called a product pre-mortem and is used by all of the A-level product managers to anticipate and mitigate all of the potential risks of a project before even starting the project. So today we're going to put ourselves into the shoes of the product managers behind the Vision Pro and look at all of the potential risks and reasons why the Vision Pro might fail and how we should be mitigating against those risks. As a bonus, I'll summarize all of these risks into themes along with their mitigation steps. Now, this general and very simple process can be used for any project to increase the chances of success by more than 30%. Hey, my name's Akash. I have a decade of product experience. I'm a Harvard MBA grad and angel invest in startups. On this channel, we talk about ways to level up your product management skills and career. And today we're going to look at one of the leading causes for failures, which is the failure to anticipate and mitigate risks. Research conducted in 1989 by 3 researchers from Wharton, Cornell, and the University of Colorado found that prospective hindsight, which is imagining that an event has already occurred, increases the ability to correctly identify reasons for future outcomes by 30%. So this is the product pre-mortem. Let's jump into the Vision Pro as a case study. So let's start in the future where the Apple Vision Pro is a complete failure. What are all the reasons that led to this future and what can we learn from that? Let's start with something called tigers. These are things and reasons that are actual threats to us and could lead to failure of the product if we don't do something about them. And so I've categorized these into unlikely, possible, and probable. And let's look at a few of the ideas, not all of them, but just a few that fall into each of these categories. One, we still don't know what the main use cases are going to be. That's true, but it's unlikely to be a reason for the failure of the product because this is still a Generation 1 product. Airlines have banned it during its use during flights. Yes, this is something that could happen, but it's not something that will lead again to failure of the product. And it is something that we will work with our airline partners and we have relationships to fix those. Vision OS is yet another platform for developers to support. Yes, we will have to make sure that developers are able to easily work and develop with Vision OS. Vision OS is too buggy and not ready for mainstream usage. Apple has very high standards for quality of software and we've done really well in the past. So this is something that is possible, but we will have to make sure that we mitigate. So it is possible, but not too worried about this. Vision Pro to Vision Pro FaceTime sucks. That is something that we will have to improve in the software. And again, these are things that will improve in iterative versions of the software. Privacy is a concern with so many cameras. This is also one of the main reasons why the Google Glass project failed in 2013 because people just didn't want cameras around them. It's now 2024. People are much more used to having cameras around them. And so this is still something that we will mitigate using eyesight and other things, but we have to have a plan there. Vision OS doesn't allow as much multitasking as Mac OS and this is reminiscent of iPad OS, which really had problems with multitasking. So we have to make sure that the software really solves for multitasking. The battery life is only 2 hours. We have to improve that in the next version. Vision Pro is too heavy, another hardware improvement for the next version. And customers haven't found enough value from using it to make it a habit. We have to work to make Vision Pro a habit. That's the only way that it's going to replace the iPhone and the Mac in the decade to come. So these are things that we need to mitigate. So those are all the tigers that we need to be thinking about. But what about something called paper tigers? These are things that other people might be worried about and think are threats, but I'm not worried about. First is the price tag. This is a Generation 1 product only meant for early adopters and enthusiasts. So the price tag isn't a problem. We have cheaper versions of the device coming in the future years, which will be for more mainstream users. Unreliable quality of manufacturing, this would be a problem for most companies, but Apple has really solved the supply chain and has great relationships with all of our vendors. Eye tracking as the primary navigation, might not be good enough. This is could be a threat as seen by other companies or other people. We have done extensive research here, and eye tracking and this new way of interacting with Vision Pro is going to feel like the device knows exactly what you're thinking about before you even do or say anything. And there's no killer app or game. Yes, we talked about this, where this is again a Generation 1 product and the exact use cases will show themselves. Even working with our developers, we will help them build those killer apps and games for the Vision Pro. And finally, moving to what are the elephants or the elephants in the room. These are things that we are concerned about, but no one is really talking about. Apple doesn't have enough AI features. This is a big concern and something we need to be thinking about. And the iPhone is going to be replaced by AI, not MR. That is a possibility, and we need to make sure that we're mitigating against that with enough thinking around AI. The Vision Pro is just a consumption device and not a pro device like Mac. That is something that we need to think about. Again, like I said, it's only if Vision Pro becomes a true device that people use to create and be productive is when it will replace the iPhone and the Mac. MR might not be a big enough market for Apple, which is a $3 trillion business today, company today. MR is only $52 billion market in 2023. So not something that we can do anything about, but we have the long term in mind. We see this market becoming a $1 trillion market in the next decade. And so something that we are really investing in for the long run. This takes humanity into a dystopian Ready Player One future. That's not a bright future that we want to be building. And so we have to think about how do we mitigate that with software features or ecosystem items to make sure that we mitigate that as much as we can. And then, despite being the first voice assistant, Siri is really unreliable and a disappointment compared to ChatGPT and Alexa. Yes, we have to fix Siri. Okay, so now with all of that, what are the top themes emerging and what are the next steps that we need to be thinking about for each of these? The hardware needs improving, no doubt about that. We have a roadmap, we have cheaper versions, we have a whole lineup planned for the Vision headsets in the years to come. Vision OS is still limited and not enough features. Again, this is a Generation 1 or a version 1 of the operating system. We need to focus on improving and taking in early adopter feedback and constantly talking about this in WWDC. Apple needs more AI features and capabilities built into the operating system. Yes, we have to do that, and we will keep acquiring AI startups and companies in this space so that we can integrate more AI features and functionality into the operating system layer itself. Developers are still waiting and don't know exactly what to build for the Vision Pro. So we need to partner with a lot of the large developers out there who we have relationships with, and we need to set up and incentivize funds for smaller developers to develop for the Vision Pro. Siri sucks. So what are we going to do about it? Well, we need to rebuild Siri to use more natural language processing and machine learning features to make it so that it understands the user's intent rather than getting stuck on the specific words and commands. Siri has to reach a reliability of at least 99%, where when a user tells Siri something, they can be 99% assured that Siri will do the right thing. It's only then when Siri will become a habit. And for a device that doesn't have a keyboard, mouse, or remote controls, Siri is a big interaction mode, so we need to make sure that Siri is fixed. That concludes the pre-mortem. What did you think of the process? Are you going to use this in your next product? Comment down below with tigers, paper tigers, or elephants that you think I missed. And here's your next video that talks about 5 things that you probably don't know about the Apple Vision Pro.